Welcome back to the Citizens Fancast. As always, I'm your host, Evan, and we got a big episode today. So, first off, still a little bit sick, so I apologize. Week I'm better for my sake and for the sake of this episode, and that's about it. Might have to take a couple breaks to take a drink of something here, just because I can already feel my voice getting more and more hoarse by the second, honestly. So uh, I apologize, but it's I got to work with what I got. So thank you guys for tuning in again. Big week this week, obviously coming off the Leipzig and Spurs matches, and then we will get into the Aston Villa and Luton matches coming up, and that'll be today's episode. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So first match, Leipzig last week. Obviously, when I recorded, the match was the next day, and it was a match that I felt was winnable, and we went out and did our job. It was a little backwards the way we did it, obviously going down, but at the end of the day, it was 3-2 and we won. So, yeah, I got quite a bit to say about that one, just with people freaking out and everything, and same thing with the Spurs match and just freaking out on our season. Kind of seems like the moral of the story lately, ever since probably since Chelsea, maybe a little bit before that, but yeah. Sorry about that. So anyway, Leipzig lineup: Ortega in goal, Walker, Diaz, Guardiola, Akanji, Rodri, Lewis, Bernardo, Foden, Grealish, Haaland. So starting lineup, not too much out of the ordinary, in all honesty. Obviously, Ederson not in goal, but it's a situation where we pretty much had first place in the group locked up. All we basically had to do was not lose. We'd have the tiebreaker over Leipzig, and we'd move on into the with the first place in our group. So I knew they'd come out firing, probably, that they kind of did last time, but 70% possession, we dominated the match. Obviously, we went down 2 goals, ended up winning 3-2. Goals from Haaland with an assist from Foden, Foden with an assist from Guardiola in the 70th, and then Alvarez in the 87th won us the match, and it was credited as unassisted. I think it was a Foden assist, but end of the day, it doesn't make too big of a deal, except for the people who are counting his numbers, and personally, I'm not. So, yeah, from the beginning, Akanji back in the Stones role started well. Everyone was praising him on Twitter, and then he made a mistake, and it led to our first goal getting scored on. So, Openda was just kind of tearing us apart in the first half for the most part. So, really credit to him for his 2 goals. He got both of them, and he scored against us in the first leg as well. But his speed is just something that I don't think we're built to really set up against the counterattack. So it's hard when you have players that are that speedy, and it's kind of something we saw again against Spurs with Son. It's just when you have players that are that fast, it's hard when we throw so many bodies forward to be able to have players back when they do get that counterattack. Ball, he missed. If you watch it back, he kind of did everything possible to not make contact with Openda. Credit to him on that. At that point, getting scored on is less of a consequence, I guess, than getting a red card and being down to 10 men and down a goal. So it was smart the way he pulled up and made sure he didn't make contact just to make sure he didn't get that second yellow. I understand that. If he was going to commit to the challenge, he kind of had to make sure he got the ball. And it's hard. I wasn't a defender, so I'm not going to critique him on that, but he is a defender, and if you're going to go in with no support really behind you, you got to make sure you're going to get the ball. So, like I said, it's not a situation where he could miss. He had to either get the ball or get nothing, and that's basically what he did. He got nothing. Guardiola got back, did the best he could to try to stop it, but 2-0. And it was halftime. Everyone's freaking out, right? And I just felt calm because we're City, right? Is what we do. We can come back from deficits. It felt the entire match like we were better. It felt like we were going to come back. It's just a matter of getting that first goal, right? We had chances. We were making chances. The problem was giveaways, being lazy on those giveaways, not tracking back. On the second goal particularly, Walker kind of walked back in a way. He didn't really seem too interested in getting back on defense, which is what left us a little vulnerable. So it's the little things like that. You got to make sure that if you're not going to be back to, if you're going to lose the ball that high up the field, we got to make sure we get bodies back. And I think that's the biggest thing. I feel like that's been the biggest thing all year. We lose the ball up front, and you can't just rely on a 1v1 or a 2v2 because, an attacker's job is to beat the defense. Obviously, we have world-class defenders, but it's their job to beat our defenders, and at times they're going to get outplayed, plain and simple. You can try to make excuses or whatever and say players need to be better. That's not a valid thing. You can't just say players need to be better and not have a reasoning or an execution plan for how they need to be better. I see a lot of that, and I got into a lot of it today on Twitter as well, going back and forth with people. Well, they just need to be better. Well, how do they need to be better, though, right? You can't just say, oh, they need to be better. Well, what do they need to do to be better? Because just saying they need to be better doesn't really do anything. And I understand that some people don't want an answer to that question. They don't want an answer of what they need to do better. And I think that was kind of my mistake today. I didn't know if I was going to get into this portion now or when or wherever, but I'm going to do it now because I had a good leadway into it and we're going. So I see a lot of people just, oh, they need to do better in this situation. I can't believe this. I don't want them at my club. Shut the fuck up. Because, first of all, you have it's these fan pages, right, that don't know what they're talking about. They've never touched a ball. They're hiding behind a fake avatar of Foden or Diaz or De Bruyne or whatever, right? And I'm simply just going after our fan base at this point, people that I expect to listen. But these aren't the people that I want listening, because if you're not going to try to comprehend and actually listen to this and what I do to explain this, then I don't want you listening anyway. I'm not in a position where I'm doing this and I have thousands and thousands of listeners. I know my audience, right? I know there's not a ton of people out there listening. It is what it is. That's not why I'm doing this. At the end of the day, I don't make a dime off this. In all honesty, I have made nothing off of this. I do this because I have a lot of knowledge, right? This podcast has actually cost me quite a bit of money just through programs I've needed for editing and just the equipment and everything like that to make sure I can produce a product that is respectable. So for me, I have this knowledge, right? I played for 20 years, and it's not about the fact that I'm not here sitting trying to gatekeep saying you shouldn't watch football if you didn't play. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's a game that's difficult to understand at times. I'm going out of my way to try to explain it to the people who may not understand it. You can listen or you can't. I don't give a crap whether you do or not. In all honesty, I have my opinions. I know how I played. I know I played at very, very high levels, and I feel like because of that, it gives me a unique opportunity to see the game in a certain way. I'm able to break it down on a tactical, analytical, and on a pace where you can see it from a player's perspective, right? So for me to do that, I don't just do that because I do that to try to help other people, to try to show people, hey, yes, I understand that you think that they should have done this, but maybe in that scenario, it's not as easy as you think. Everything isn't just like FIFA where you can do something and put a command in and the player is just going to do it automatically. There's real life. There's human error. And at the end of the day, you're going up against good attackers. They're attackers' jobs that it is to beat the defense, right? You can't just, sometimes you just lose those matchups, plain and simple. I know we have great players and I know we have the best players in the world. And I wouldn't trade a single player on our squad for another player. In all honesty, I love every player that we have. But at the end of the day, sometimes you just get outmatched in certain situations. And the situation I was talking about wasn't even from this Leipzig match. It was on the last goal with Walker against Spurs. And it was just, oh, well, he needed to do better. But if you watch the video, it's not about he just needs to do better. It's, yes, his positioning was a little bit off. I think he was preventing the chance for a cut inside and being taken on one-on-one and a shot that way. Obviously, ideally, he would block the cross. But like I said, it's the attacker's job to beat the defense. They have so many different options. They can cut it down the baseline. They can cut it back inside. They can pass it back. They can cross it. You can't stop every single thing from happening. In a perfect world, yes, you can. But it's not as easy as it sounds. And, you know, it's the same thing. Last week, I saw these screenshots of like, oh, why can't we play these balls to Haaland? Because it's not always logical in a freeze frame to be able to say, hey, they can just play the ball. And I saw these freeze frames of just people posting, oh, I can't believe we play these balls. Or if De Bruyne was here, this would be 4 assists. No, it wouldn't. You can't always play those because it's not FIFA. First of all, one of the scenarios, it was offside. So take one away right there. You can't just look at a video and scrutinize every single decision and every single freeze frame and say it should have been better here. Because football is a very, very difficult sport to play. If it was easy, everybody would be a professional, but they're not. And there's a reason why these people are out there and just hiding behind these fan pages. And it's frustrating as hell to deal with when I'm sitting here working my fucking ass off trying to create a good product for people. And you have these stupid fucking fan accounts that have 10, 18, 20,000 followers. And they're just spewing of this player needs to be better. And they're getting thousands of likes on what? Because you want to air your grievances and put blame on somebody. And a part of me thinks it's my fault for trying to give reason when people just want to blame somebody. But it's frustrating as hell. And that's just my perspective. And listen or not, I don't know if anybody's even still listening after this because that was a hell of a rant. But I just want to let you guys know that I'm doing this because it's something I enjoy to do. I enjoy watching the game, being able to break it down, being able to look at it from a perspective that, frankly, I don't think a lot of other podcasts out there do. I don't think they're looking at it from, you know, a player makes this run and what does that do? For example, let's get back into this Leipzig game, right? On the, actually, you know what? The moment I was talking about wasn't from the Leipzig game. I apologize. It was from the Spurs game. So, in the Spurs game, I'll just talk about it now before I finish off Leipzig. On the second goal, Alvarez made a run. He made a run, and he was found with a pass. On that run, he opened up space in the middle of the box. Foden filled the space. Because of that, Alvarez was able to pass it back to him for a goal. Things like that. It's things like that that maybe not every single person would notice or see that's being done. It's things like that that I enjoy telling people, and that's why I do this. Because I feel like I have a certain set of knowledge that not everybody has, in all honesty, because not everybody looks at the game the same way, and that's fine. And I'm not saying everybody has to, and I'm not one of these people sitting here trying to gatekeep. I don't care. What I'm trying to do is bring another perspective to the game, and if you're a City fan, I'm trying to bring that perspective to you because you're a City fan. If you would like to listen and be able to understand the game from this different aspect, I'm here for you. I'm willing to have a conversation topic with you. But if I'm going to bring this up and say, hey, you're probably wrong, it's not as easy to do that, and you just come and attack me, I'm obviously going to get defensive and attack you back. It's simple as that. And the one I was talking about today, Literally, all I was asking for is a reasoning of what Walker could have done better, and I never got told one. So what does that tell you? You can't explain to me what they're doing wrong. You're just saying, oh, be better. How? How can you just be better? Doesn't make any sense. Back to the Leipzig game. I'm a little bit frustrated right now. But anyway, I never panicked on that game. I knew we would come back. 3-2. We won the game. And in all honesty, it felt a lot safer when Ake came in at halftime. He came in, shored up the defense. Diaz was having an off match. It happens. Those kind of things happen, right? So Ake came in. He's been playing incredible. He's extremely underrated at this point. He's been one of the top center backs in the world, honestly, the last couple months, if not 12 months, in all honesty. And he's not getting the credit for it, but he really should. And I think City fans see it and see what he's doing and see what he's bringing, and he deserves all the credit and all the accolades because he's been absolutely incredible. A lot of times playing really kind of out of position, left back. I know back in his younger days, he was more of a left back before he came to City at times, kind of converted to center back, so it's something he knows how to do, but I'd say out and out, he's a center back. So I feel like he's kind of playing out of position at times, and he's just excelling. So credit to him. Foden was exceptional in that match as well. For me, he was the man of the match. Like I said, he got an assist, 2 goals. They didn't necessarily credit him with the second one, but he got it. So that was the Leipzig match, and a few extra things in there as well. So I apologize for my off-topic rants and the things I got into on the Spurs game. It's just frustrating because like I said, I'm creating this podcast for people to enjoy. At the end of the day, I don't make a dime off this. I don't care if I ever do, in all honesty. I really don't. It's more for me to just share my opinion. And at the end of the day, I don't care if there's 2 people listening or 2,000 people listening. I just want to share my opinion, and that's it. I feel like I have a special skill set. Not saying that I'm special, more special than anybody else. It's just I bring a different ideas that I haven't heard other people bring. And that's all I'm saying. So, there's podcasts out there that don't do that, and there's podcasts out there that may do that. I obviously haven't listened to them all. I encourage you to listen to other city podcasts and not just mine. Get other people's opinions. Get other people's perspectives. That's what it's about. It's about having these live discussions in a way through these podcasts, listening to people and being able to hear what they have to say and be able to have an intelligent discussion back and forth where, you can say on that goal, for example, hey, I don't agree. I think he could have done this. Now listen, I will listen if you come to me like that. But if you just come at me and call me an idiot, like that's not what I'm here for, right? And it's plain and simple. We're all adults, or we should be. I don't think there's a lot of people who are adults on Twitter with the way they act, but maybe they are, and they're just extremely immature. But at the end of the day, if you're gonna try to act like adult, just act like an adult, plain and simple. So into the Spurs match, obviously we all know the result. 3 goals apiece, tied the match, should have won, and that's Spurs, right? That's what we do against Spurs. So starting lineup, Ederson, Walker, Diaz, Akanji, Guardiola, Bernardo, Foden, Alvarez, Doku, and Haaland. 55% possession. Goals were an own goal by Son, canceling out his opening goal. Foden scored the second, like I kind of already broke down, and Grealish scored the last one with an assist from Haaland. So, first getting started, I want to talk about the first goal, and a little bit of constructive criticism here. I think this is where defensively, Grealish is better than Doku. Doku kind of showed that he's not a defender. He kind of looked... It was weird how he tried to defend. It didn't really look like he knew what he was doing. He kind of looked like a newborn deer trying to walk for the first time. It wasn't very good, in all honesty. It was weird, and his legs were all over the place, and it didn't work, and Son got past him, and we got scored on, and that's the best way I can describe it. So definitely room for improvement defensively with Doku, and I think we've seen that. He's great going forward, but he's got to work on his defensiveness, and I think that's just where you get different things with different players, and I feel like you get Grealish, who excels a little more defensively, but if Doku's our only player back, he's not a defender, and he showed that he wasn't a defender. So not trying to be too hard on him. It is what it is. We allowed a goal, and not saying that any of our defenders would have stopped that anyway. Son's a very skillful player. He's a very fast player, so he could have gotten past our defender anyway. But we started strong. We should have scored a lot more than we did. We had a lot of expected goals, and I'm not using expected goals to say that we should have won. I'm just using expected goals to say that we should really start to take advantage of our chances. Plain and simple, that we're creating chances and we just need to be able to finish them better. We've seen that for a couple weeks now. We're creating the chances, we're getting the opportunities in the box, and we're not finishing. So I think that's something we need to work on. We need to work on finishing, and I think it's simple. Honestly, we're out playing teams. It just comes down to the finishing. So our corner routine also needs to improve, because on top of our finishing, I think our corner routine is absolutely garbage. I feel like we've gotten so many corners recently, and we just cannot finish a single one of them. I don't know if Alvarez is technically to blame when he's the one taking them, but I would like to see somebody else on the ball, maybe play it short, have someone cross it in, maybe even play it short to Alvarez and have him cross it in just from a different angle. I'm not sure what the issue is. Pep's a smart guy. He'll get it figured out. We'll right this ship in a way that doesn't really need to be righted, because we're in a good spot. But yeah, it's just a few little minor tweaks, right? It's caught on the counterattack with Doku back. And, it's like I said, against Leipzig, we were caught on the counter and we had defenders back. So I can't necessarily say that if we would have had a defender back that we would have been able to stop those chances. But I think it's just about having more bodies back in general. If our corner routine's not working with all the bodies forward, then maybe drop one out. And maybe there's a little less congestion in there and we can do something else. I don't know. I don't have the answers all the time. I'm just pointing out what I see are some issues. So corners, I feel like, need to improve. I think we need to make ourselves a little less susceptible on the counterattack. It feels like we're sending Walker up the field a little too much. I think there's an opportunity for him to sit back a little bit more with his speed. We wouldn't get beat on the counter as much with speed. We'd have that extra body to delay so more bodies could get back and defend better. And I think that would help a lot. He doesn't offer a ton going forward in his ability of passing and shooting. So I don't sorry about that. I don't really see the need to always send him forward and to have that extra body forward. I think we can kind of work with what we have and the bodies we already have forward and kind of approach it that way. But it's just, we went up 2-1, they equalized, and we went up 3-1 with Grealish. And it's just, or 3-2, I apologize. We went up 3-2 with Grealish, and they equalized again late. And back post, Akanji just got out-muscled. There's not much you can do on that. I mean, it wasn't a foul. It was a very physical play, but that's about it. I mean, I don't know there's much that Akanji could have done. Even if he jumps, I'm not sure he's able to stop that. I apologize. My throat is very dry right now. Today's podcast is unofficially sponsored by Powerade, the drink that is making me survive through this podcast right now. So shout out to Powerade on that one. But continuing on. So Rodri got a yellow card. He is out with too many yellow cards against Villa. I think we're going to see a Stones midfield performance. I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready for it. I think I fully trust Stones, and I fully trust his ability in the midfield, or even if he's not out there, I trust whoever. It doesn't matter. Like I said, all the players are with this club and on this team for a reason. I trust our squad, and I trust their ability. I would expect Rico Lewis to also get time. Grealish is also out with a suspension. And Doku might be out with an injury. When Grealish came on, Doku went right down the tunnel. I haven't heard anything yet. So minus him, though, we're only out De Bruyne. But I have a little bit of beef with the Grealish yellow card. He kicked the ball away. I understand it's in the rules. I understand it's technically a yellow card. He didn't kick it away that far. Is it a little stupid, a little immature to do it? Yes. Did I do it all the time when I was playing? Yes. Did I get yellow cards for it? Yes. But at the end of the day, what I have to say about that is, in a professional match, I think this rule was created when there was one ball, maybe two balls, and you kick the ball away, you're wasting time. In a professional match with all the stoppage and everything they're trying to do, Grealish kicking the ball away wasted maybe 5 seconds. It wasn't the end of the world. I think in that scenario, it's more of a just kicking it away so the other player can't have it. Again, a little immature, yes, but who cares, right? It's whatever. I don't blame Grealish for it. I don't think it should be a yellow card, and I don't see it given a ton. I saw it given last week, I believe, in the Chelsea match. Reece James got a yellow for that and then ended up getting a red. So I don't see it happen a ton. It seems few and far between. It's not consistently given. If you're not going to give it consistently, then why give it at all? But the reason why I say it shouldn't be given in professional anymore is because there's 10, 15 match balls around the field. It's not time wasting, really. And Grealish kicking that ball away didn't really waste any more time. What really wasted more time than anything was giving the yellow card, right? So is that not counterproductive in a way? It's time wasting for Grealish to kick the ball away and waste less than 5 seconds, but then the ref has to come across, run 15 to 20 yards, give Grealish the card, write it down that he gave him a card, and that doesn't waste more time? Is that being added on? Because it's probably not. So at the end of the day, which one wasted more time? In a professional match, yes, there's all these balls around. So why is it still a yellow card? I think that's something that should leave, a rule that should leave in professional. I understand why it's in play. I mean, you could realistically, if you're Grealish, if it's not in play, kick the ball to the center of the field. Cool. Make it more situational. A little tap away isn't anything. It's not doing anything. It's more annoying. Like a little mosquito next to your ear. It's annoying. It's not going to end your day, ruin your day, but it's just a little bit annoying. Or a fly flying around in your room. It's annoying, yes, but that's all it is. It doesn't do anything to you. It doesn't really affect your life in the slightest. Obviously, at a lower level where there's 1, 2, 3 balls at lower levels, yeah, kicking the ball away or just kicking the ball off the sideline 20 yards away, yes, that's a yellow card. That wastes a ton of time. 30 seconds to a minute. But what Grealish did wasted 5 seconds. Who cares? It's not a big deal. So, it is what it is. And again, beyond that, there's the call that everyone's talking about. I don't want to talk about it a ton, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit. It's Haaland got fouled. He got back up. Ref was play on, and then through ball to Grealish. Plays blown dead. Stops our chance for a through when Grealish was through one-on-one with the keeper. Potentially took 2 points away from us. So we're calling it a human error. I think it's a lack of ability. I think if other people in their jobs performed as poorly as Premier League referees, they'd get fired. So why that's put up with, I don't quite understand. But all I ask for is consistency. If you're going to be consistently bad, then be consistently bad. If something's a foul or you're going to stop the play, then stop the play every single time. I don't want to see it done in one match and not done in another. The Premier League referees are a part of an organization. And the rules and what they do and their judgment calls can still be discussed on which should and shouldn't. You can look back at the calls and you can say, okay, in this scenario, this is what we did. Is that what we want to do moving forward? Yes or no? After that decision, uniform. Same thing. It's really not that hard to get together and do that every single week. But for some reason, we see these inconsistencies all the time across referees. And it really shouldn't be. I understand every referee in the moment has their own decisions. But they are professional referees. If you are a professional at something, you should be more professional at it. Plain and simple. That's all I got to say on that. Again, like I said, it's another draw that feels like a loss, but you can't do anything about it. We're 3 points off the top. We're in a decent spot. So De Bruyne is coming back soon, and I think he'll help us control matches a little bit better. I think once he's back, there's those moments in the second half of games lately where it feels like we lose a little bit of control, we lose possession, and it doesn't feel like we have the game in our hands anymore, and that's where we seem to concede goals. It's a 15 to 20 minute span, and we're just kind of under pressure the entire time, and it feels kind of, I don't, complacent, I guess is the best word for it. It seems complacent, and I think that's just what needs to improve. We just need to make sure that we can play a full 90 minutes at the end of the day, and that's what it is. But you can say we've had a rough run of form. 3 draws and 3 points off the top. I don't consider that bad, in all honesty. I know people are panicking and freaking out, and it just makes me wonder what you would have done back when City was down and losing, because people are panicking when we're 3 points off the top. Stop being such spoiled brats. We're fine. We're absolutely fine. We've been worse off and still won the league. And I'm gonna say it, and I'm more of a City fan than any person I've ever met in my life. There are multiple people who have told me that they have not met a sports fan who is obsessed with a team as much as I am. And what I have to say is, if we don't win the league, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, I want to win the league. I want to dominate our competition. But people just need to chillax a little bit, right? Obviously, I want to win the league, but relax. It's December. We can freak out and panic later. It's December. It's the holiday season. Cheer up a little bit. I'm literally sick. I barely have a voice right now, and I'm in a good mood. We just came off of a draw. It's just annoying people that frustrate me, but it's a different story. Like I said, we're 3 points off the top. We've been worse off. In all honesty, if we're within 8 to 10 points around Christmas, I think we're in a decent spot. So that's plenty of room for more things to go wrong. But I think we'll be okay. Think we're fine. So 3 points off the top. We just won our Champions League group, and we have Villa on Wednesday. Villa's in 4th. They're 1 point back. They just drew with Bournemouth this past weekend. They beat Spurs before that. Obviously, Spurs were in a bad run of form and down a ton of players. Still kind of are. So they beat a depleted Spurs team that we drew. So Villa's kind of a hard one. They're a good team, but they've had their bad performances. So away on Wednesday, they're a point behind us. It's not a must win. It's a game I think we can win. Obviously, might be down. We're going to be down Grealish and De Bruyne and Rodri for sure. We may be down Doku as well. I haven't heard anything, and I don't know what to make of that. I don't want to speculate on what it is. I would assume he might not be playing. I would personally like to see Gomez play at left wing and see what that would do for us. I think maybe we could see Rico Lewis come into the lineup as well. I think he brought a lot of energy against Spurs, and it felt like he should have been out there in the match. So it's kind of one of those moments where throw him out there and let him step up to the moment like he did last year. I think he's an incredible player. He's an incredible young player. He's got energy. He's motivated. He wants to help us win. So throw him out there and let's see what we can do. Same thing with Gomez. Let's throw him out there and see what happens. I know he doesn't get a ton of game time, but we saw this past summer what he can do in an attacking position. So let's put him at a left wing and see what he can do. I obviously already mentioned Stones, and I know people are panicking because Rodri's out, but I think our team needs to go out on Wednesday and show that we can win without Rodri, to show that we can truly win without Rodri. I know we can, but there's a ton of people who don't believe that we can. So Villa Wednesday, I expect us to be able to beat them. 3 points, back on course. And then Sunday we play Luton. Obviously they're 17th. We go to Luton. An interesting away day. A small stadium to play in. Recent form, they lost to Brentford 3-1, and they beat Palace prior to that. So all over the place, they're able to pull out results. They pulled off a draw against Liverpool. Never underestimate your competition in the Premier League. Obviously, again, we should beat them. I think Villa is our toughest competition of the week, and I don't think that's I'm not saying anything that's surprising. I'm not trying to be rude to Luton, but one's 17th and one's 4th. And if we can beat Villa, we can beat Luton. End of the day, simple as that. So Villa's got some good attackers. They got some speed. We'll see how we cope with that. But I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay with Villa. I think we'll be okay with Luton. I think we'll be okay for the rest of the year. We're in a good spot. I think people just need to stop overreacting, stop bashing our players. We're back on this shit of attacking the players, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Please just support our players. That's all I'm asking. If you're a true fan, please just support our players. It's okay to be constructive. It's okay to criticize at times, and it's okay to say that some players need to do some things better. But to just attack for the sake of attacking and wanting to blame someone, that's the parts I don't like. So, again, let's just relax, chill, go play some FIFA, relax, go outside, go for a walk, listen to some other podcasts. I don't know. Watch some old games that make you happy. Like I said, it's the holiday season. Spend time with family. Do something that makes you happy. It's, we all love this game, and it's for everybody. But at the same time, just relax. It's going to be okay. It's not the end of the world. It's just football. And that's coming from me, who is beyond hyper obsessed. So if I can manage to say that, everyone else can just relax as well. So as always, thank you guys for listening. You guys know where to find me. At Citizens Fancast on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Citizens Fancast on YouTube. Subscribe there, please, if you want to watch the videos. Also, you can follow, listen, whatever I am trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. The podcast is available on Spotify. You can follow that there. I believe you can follow podcasts on other forms. I only use Spotify, but it's also available on Apple, Google, Amazon, and I feel like I'm missing one, but go follow there as well. I think they'll probably notify you when there's new episodes, which are out every Tuesday. So again, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for bearing with me if you made it this long to the end with my spiel in the middle and my angriness and my raspy ass voice right now. But thank you guys for listening. Again, I appreciate all your support. I appreciate everybody listening. And that's all I got. So if you guys need anything, you know how to find me. And like I said, I'm always open for comments, questions, concerns, everything. I'm always open for intelligent discussions with people. I'm not open for bashing with people. So that's what I'm here for. So again, as always, thank you for listening. I will see you guys next week. 2 games this week, and I'll be back next week to break down next week's matchups. And I haven't even looked at the schedule, so I can't even tell you who they are. But let's hope for 6 points this week. I can come back, be in a good mood, good things happen, and that's all. So thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your week.